Hey guys, I'm Red, and this is LEGO set 71050, released in 2025 for $5 each, with 12 exclusive and beautiful minifigures. This is the LEGO Collectible Minifigures Across the Spider-Verse blind boxes thing, and I really like all of these beautiful minifigures, so I really want to talk about them. Let's just get right into it. But first, we do have to look at the packaging, of course, and nothing too special going on with the blind boxes. Of course, you do get the picture of some of our minifigures there. It says LEGO Minifigures Across the Spider-Verse and 12 to collect up in the corner there. And then there's nothing else really around the box. Of course, you do also get the list. We start with Miles Morales Spider-Man and go all the way down to Werewolf Spider-Man. But it just showcases all of our minifigures, and we'll look at those in detail in a little bit. And the back, of course, just has the instructions, and it has Spider-Punk jumping out of the page. Minifigure number 1 is, of course, Miles Morales Spider-Man. He comes with this super basic spider. We've seen that a whole lot of times, so we're not going to go too deep into that. But the figure itself, overall, is actually very, very nice. I really like this kind of new spin on Miles Morales with his electric powers going all around his body. You can see it in his eyes there for his expression there. You can see it a lot in his body here. I like that slight dark blue printing along with the red. I think that looks really nice. Of course, this being a collectible minifigure, he does have printed arms with the same kind of electricity printing on both sides there. He also has printed legs, which are very nice. I like the slight toe printing there for his boots. And then he does have back printing as well, and just a little bit of back of the head printing. And of course, he also does come with this unmasked version of Miles, so you can see a slight smile on his face there. You can see he comes with this beautiful hairpiece. And if we turn him around, you can see he's super pissed at Spider-Punk for taking his girl. Speaking of Spider-Punk, here he is, and this is a beautiful figure. This might be my favorite in the entire collection, but he does come with this amazing printed guitar. You can see all the different little logos there. You can see a little spider logo, and I just really like how they printed all the colors. That looks really nice. But the figure itself is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. You can see he has the really nice remixed Spider-Man face there. I like how it's kind of like dripping down. I like that. Comes with a beautiful silver mohawk on top there. Some really nice torso printing with the leather jacket and the ripped up undershirt there. You can see he has his short jeans on and his red shoes, and he has side leg printing, which just looks really nice. I like how they did that. And the same thing on the other side, but just a little bit different with a couple pins in there. It's arm printing. You can see his gauntlets and his kind of blue spiderweb printing there. Looks amazing. And then the back also has printing, of course, with FSMN on it. It looks pretty good there. And the back of the head printing is also kind of the same as the front, just obviously without the eyes. And when we remove the mask, you can see he has a beautiful hairpiece. I really like how they did that. I think that's perfect, honestly. And I really like how they did the face there. You can see all the different little details. I like how they did his cheekbones there. And turning him around, you can also see he has eyebrow piercings and just a little smile on his face. Up next is the alternate Earth Spider-Man, but this time he is the Prowler, and he also comes with this amazing newly printed disc here, and I really like how they did that. And then he also comes with 2 of these massive fists, but I'm not sure where the other one went, but you get the point. And the figure itself is actually beautifully printed on this lavender body. I really like how they did that. He has these kind of gunmetal gray hands, which you don't see a whole lot because they go with his like wrist gauntlets here, and they are dual printed, so you have the lavender on top and the dual gunmetal on the bottom there. It does come with an amazing helmet. You can see he has the kind of like gas mask thing going on there at the bottom, and his hair is of course sticking out at the top. It does also have this kind of like weird cape thing. Not exactly sure what that's called, but it looks pretty cool. And on the legs there, you can see just a little more detailing. I like how they did that. And they even included just a tiny bit of waist printing. And on the legs there, you can see his shoes, which look very cool. And on the back there is just kind of like a backpack thing. Again, I don't know what it is, but it looks cool. And when we rip off the mask, you can see just a slight smile on his face there. Up next is Spider-Gwen, and she comes with this amazing 2x2 printed tile. It is a picture of her and Miles, and I really like that. I hope they bring this back and use it more. And the figure itself, just like all the rest, is amazing and is super good. I really like how they did that hairpiece. It's gorgeous. I like how it goes over the shoulder and just has that slight little pink at the bottom. That looks pretty cool. And you can see a slight smile on her face there because she's, in love with Miles Morales. And she also has dual molded arms, just like the Prowler. Or actually, maybe not, I just lied. But still, there's a little bit of printing there, and I really like how they did that. She has these dark pink arms, and just barely see she has printing on like her thighs there. And she also has some amazingly printed shoes on the side and on the toes. It's very, very nice. You can see her torso is kind of the same as the other Gwen Stacy's, but just slightly updated with a few more dots and things added. And she does have a second expression where she looks kind of confused, I guess. And you also get her masked version, which is almost identical to every other Ghost Spider we've ever gotten. Up next is probably my second favorite figure in the collection. This is Spider-Man 2099, and he comes with this amazing trans orange micro figure, which is supposed to be his assistant, and then they can help fix the canon events and not mess up the multiverse. And the figure itself is probably the best version of Spider-Man 2099 we will ever get. I really like how they did all the different colors he has, from the different blues and the different oranges and reds. It looks gorgeous. I like the face print there. I like the, obviously the evil, or that's not a word, but you know what I mean. The mean looking spider there on his torso. He has two printed arms on the left and right. Really like how they did both of those. You can see he has that slight little bit of toe printing and just a little bit of leg printing there. He has this cool like wing thing, or like a cape or something. Not exactly sure what it's supposed to be, but it looks pretty cool. When we just move it out of the way, you can see the same kind of printing continues on his back. And when we rip off the mask here, you can see he has a nice little hairpiece there. I like that one. I think it works pretty well. And on his face there, you can see he's like super pissed because Miles is messing up the multiverse. But when we flip it around, you can see he's a little happier. Up next is Spider-Man India, and he comes with this really cool cat here. I like how they did that. I like the little spider mask on the face there. And he also comes with a cup of tea. And the figure itself is very, very nice. I really like this figure, just like all the other ones. But this one is actually really accurate to the movie. I like how they did it. And if we take off his hair for a second and see his full face printing, I like that. I like the lighter blue instead of the regular blue like traditional Spider-Man have. I like the blue down the middle with the red on the sides there. I think that looks pretty cool. He does have printed arms with some gold detailing on it there. You can see his legs actually wrap around all the way, so I really like that they do that. That's always really nice. The gold highlights looks pretty cool. And then on the back, it has the same kind of printing with the spider logo. And he also has a headband that wraps around the back of his head. And when we rip off the mask, you can see he's super happy because Spider-Man just saved his girlfriend. And then on the back here, he's just super pissed. Up next is Cyborg Spider-Woman. And again, this figure is just phenomenal. I really like all the prints around. I really like this robotic arm. I think that's sick. And the little neck attachment there is actually really, really nice. And I like how there's barely any printing underneath, so it looks like you're not really missing anything if you have to remove it or you lose it or something. But I really like how they did the face. I like the different eyes there. I think it looks really nice with the one green eye. And the torso there is just also phenomenal. I like the bronze chains going on there. He has a yellow belt, which looks pretty cool. It's just the Batman utility belt piece. And the arm is super bandaged up, and it has like a spiked little wrist collar thing there. And on the legs, if we take a look at down there, you can see they're also really nicely printed out, like the toe printing and just the two legs that we get. Super robotic and super cyborg, I guess. He has a pouch on the side of it there. And then on the back, you can see the same kind of chains continue. Just looks really nice. Up next is the Sun Spider. And this is probably a lot of people's favorite in the collection as well, just because of the backwards hat. So hopefully that comes back in like city sets, but he has this little printed spider there on the back. I think that looks really nice for what they did. And then it's a different Spider-Man because it's orange and black instead of the traditional like blue and red, but I think it still works pretty well. And they also come with these two crutch pieces. I think those work pretty well, and I hope they bring these back. I think they're pretty cool. And the figure itself is actually really, really nice. I like the red X going over their face there. I like the black hoodie. I think that works pretty well. You can see the spider suit underneath there. See a few gray detailing there for the arms with some traditional red hands. You can see some knee pads there. Look pretty cool. There is no toe printing on this one, unfortunately, but I think this figure is still really nice. Up next is Spiderbite, and this, again, is probably a lot of people's favorite. Just because of the accessory. It has a lot of like technology printed detailing there. And it has the spider that bit Miles on it, so that's pretty cool. It is like this trans pink, I think. So that's pretty cool to get that color. And because Spiderbite is technically like a hologram or like a controlled by VR or something, it has to be like kind of transparent. So they gave her trans pink legs with some purple detailing on it. I like how they did that. It's always really nice to get some transparent colors in minifigures. She also has these transparent arms with some printing on there. You can barely see it, but it works pretty well. She has these nice blue hands, kind of like light blue, I guess. The torso there looks really nice with the purples and the pinks. Just looks absolutely fantastic. And the back here, the same kind of printing continues with the pink and purple kind of technology printing, I guess. And the helmet here is also very, very nice. I like the purple again, and the pink, and all the different colors, and just the different shape. Because like that's a pretty cool helmet. Like I like that. That's a nice mold. And when we rip it off, you can see she's super scared because maybe Miles is going to the wrong dimension. And you can also see a slight smile on the other head. And of course she does also come with a hairpiece, which is brand new, which works pretty well for her. Up next is Peter B. Parker with Baby Mayday. And I really like this figure. Again, all these figures are phenomenal, but I think this one is especially very, very nice. When we take a closer look at Mayday Parker, you can see there's a little spider mask there just printed on her head. There's nothing special on the body or anything, but still works pretty well. And the figure itself is in his pink robe, so he's always ready for action though, because he has a spider suit underneath, and he has some, maybe those are supposed to be like slippers or his boots printed on his legs there. Dual molded, so it's in white instead of the pink. He has blue toe printing there, so maybe those are supposed to be like his socks sticking out or something. But you can see on his face there, he just has a little bit of stubble because he's taking care of Mayday, so he doesn't really have time to shave. But his hairpiece, I think, works really well for this version of Peter Parker. And just a little bit of back printing to obviously continue the robe, which works pretty well. And then when we turn around the hairpiece, you can see he's like super confused because maybe he's just found out about canon events as well. And another contender for the best figure of the set, this is the Web-Slinger. And this is supposed to be like Cowboy Spider-Man, but I think it works very, very well in Lego form. I really like how they did his horse. Like, look at this. You cannot tell me we will ever get this again, because this is just amazing. I really like the spider mask on the horse there. I think that works really well. It's just a fantastic accessory. He also comes with this lasso, which you've seen before in like Wonder Woman figures and other like cowboys and everything. So just printed in this kind of like medium nougat color, so works pretty well for a lasso. And the figure itself has a lot going on here. You can see he has a cowboy hat, obviously, because he's supposed to be like a sheriff. He has the Ninjago mask just under his spider mask there. It looks pretty good. And then his like poncho here is printed all the way around, and it has the spider logo over the shoulder there. I really like how they did that. I think that works very, very well for this figure. But moving it out of the way for a second, you can see he has the yellow undershirt there. It does really work well for kind of Western times. See, he also has a belt with some cowboy boots on with slight toe printing. He doesn't have any arm printing, unfortunately, but I don't think we gotta go too crazy with this figure because he's supposed to be from like the 1800s. And then just a very little bit of back printing there. And last, but definitely not least, this is Werewolf Spider-Man. So, like the name implies, it's supposed to be a werewolf that is Spider-Man. So I wonder how this figure came to be. I wonder if it was like a spider bit a werewolf, or maybe it was like a mutant werewolf ate a spider or something, but I don't know. Pretty interesting to think about. But the figure itself is gorgeous. I like the spider mask there on the classic werewolf head, and I like how it's also like ripped on the sides. So maybe it did get bitten by maybe Spider-Man. I don't know. Raises too many questions, but a super cool Lego figure because he has dual molded arms there with the werewolf printing, I guess, all the way around. And this one arm doesn't even have a Spider-Man sleeve on it, so very interesting. See, the classic Spider-Man suit is all ripped up on the torso there, and also on the legs. You can see he also has one boot left because the other one has just completely been ripped off. And the same kind of printing continues on the back, where it's just the same classic Spider-Man printing, but just completely ripped apart. So after a full series of banger minifigures, I don't know which one is my favorite, but all of them are definitely very, very nice. And some brand new characters to get in Lego form. and I just love all of these, and I'm super happy that I have all 12 of them in very, very nice condition. And yeah, I don't know what you guys think about them, but why don't you leave me a comment down below, because I'm freezing and I gotta get this video out. So leave a like, subscribe, and let me know what you think about all these figures. I don't know what our next video is gonna be yet, but it'll be something just as cool as these.